So for the purpose of this drawing, I have copied it off of my assignment sheet and snipped it and pasted here so you can see this as we're drawing along. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to save it. So I'm in drawing one. I haven't even started drawing, but to do that, what I can do is save it and rename it. So when we do that, when we're doing a rename, we can go to the save button, and because I haven't saved it yet, I'm going to make sure that I'm in my Z drive. So just kind of going back and looking like how to find my Z drive. If you start off somewhere like this with your desktop, you need to scroll down and find the port that has your initials at the beginning. So I mean, like your first two initials, last name. Mine is backwards, so I'm looking for the Hanson KF. So that would get me into my Z drive. I have a lot more files than you do, so you should be just looking for your drafting one. So I'm looking over here for the folder in which I'm going to put this, and then I'm going to find my geometric construction. I'll double click in that folder, and then I'm going to rename this. So this one is going to be called Angle Spacer, and I can save this. And after you save one time, AutoCAD should prompt you to go back to that same folder every single time. So if I started a new drawing and went to save, it should prompt me back to that original folder and where I started from. So after you do that one time, it should keep going back, and then it's up to you to navigate through the folders, but you should find that it's easy for you to get to it each time after you've done that initial save. So what we're going to look at now is starting this problem. All of the problems for these drawings are going to be the left-hand corner is going to be at the 0, 0 point. So I specified that in the lesson document, and you're going to put that left-hand corner at 0, 0. Some of these dimensions you can see here are missing, just like always, and it's your job to do that math. If this part were being manufactured, they would want to hold this part at 0.25, hold this dimension at 0.5, and this one is the one that can be off just a little bit. So if we do the math in AutoCAD, they should be drawn perfectly. You shouldn't be off at all, but this one would be 0.5 as well. As you can see, I don't have this given to me, so I would have to calculate this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to work up this side right here, and then I'm going to work through this side over here, and then we'll come back and we'll connect those two endpoints. You can do that, or you can take the 3 inches minus 1.75 and find out this distance here, and then 2 minus 1.25, you can find that leg of that angle and then close that off. That's another way of doing it. So I'll kind of, maybe I'll do this one. I'll do this one laying out the two angles. And then this one, I'll show you how to just close that off at the end. So starting with your line command, typing in 0, 0 to get this one started. I'm going to go over, I'm going to do the left side first. So I'm going to go up 0.25. And I'm going to go over to the right 0.75. So notice that I have ortho on. And with ortho on, I'm locked in vertical and horizontal lines. So that makes it easy to just pull the mouse over to the side and type in the dimensions. I'm doing this pretty quickly because I'm using the numeric keypad, and it makes it easy for me to type that in. I was just doing the math. So there we go. So I just did this one, 0.25, 0.75, 0.5, 0.75, and 0.5. So that kind of gives me that left-hand side of that part. And now I'm going to go back to the 0, 0 point. You can either type in 0, 0, or you can click on that spot on your computer. It should find that. For the purpose of this and its clarity, I turned the grid off because it's just too many lines. So I'm going to pull that over at 3 inches, and then the next dimension is going to be 1.5 inches. So up here, I don't have the dimension or an angle given to me. So what I need to do is draw another line up 0.5, over 0.75, and then come back and connect it. So I'll show you how to do that. So up 0.5 over 0.75, and I'm going to go ahead and draw that other one at 1 inch to the left as well. So 1. There we go. And now I have those two little legs right here. Those are the two legs of the triangle. I'm looking for the end point. The end point comes up with a green square, and I'm going to connect that hypotenuse. Okay, so I had the two legs defined. I did not know the length of the hypotenuse, and I did not know this angle, so I wasn't able to enter that information. So I'm going to erase, and I don't know if you saw what I just did real quickly. My hand was already on my keyboard, so I typed in E for erase and hit enter, or my right mouse button, and I picked those two and erase it fairly quickly. I'm going to go back over to my line. Remember, you can always use the L on the keyboard for line. And, I'm going to turn my ortho off because it's not allowing me to, like, pick that point very easily. I'm trying to find that end point, and it's snapping to the midpoint. All right, so here's a new button for today. This is what's called your object snaps. I don't know if yours is on, but I keep mine on because I use object snaps a lot. So I was trying to pick to that end point. It's still doing that. I'm not quite sure what's, I have snap on. Turn snap off. There we go. Snap off fixes that problem. I turn snap off, and there we go. I can snap to that end point. That's one of the reasons why I don't draw with snap a lot of times, because it does control your mouse and it requires you to snap to a certain point, especially with angles. So if I turn snap and grid back on, you can see that that end point was not on a snap point, and that's why I was struggling with that. So snap and grid sometimes does need to be turned off if you cannot find those endpoints, and that was kind of being misbehaving a little bit. All right, so the next thing I need to do is my circle. I need to put that in there. Looking at the symbol, it has the diameter 1 inch, and it's 1 inch from the end, 1 inch up. So I'm going to fill in this dimension. So this going in my X direction is 2, and my Y direction is 1. So my coordinates are 2, 1. So I'm going to go back up to my circle command. There is a difference between circle radius and circle diameter. If you pick the one for diameter, you can enter 1. If you pick radius, you have to do 0.5. So that's your choice. So you pick what you want, but I'm going to do 2, 1 for my center point, and then I'm going to type in 1 for my diameter, and then voila, that part is created. Now, later on, you'll learn how to do center lines. You'll learn how to do the dimensions, and we'll get all those things. But for right now, I'm just really wanting you to concentrate on navigating with your little buttons that you've learned here within the week, the snap, the grid, the ortho, learning how to zoom in and out, learning how to pan. At the end of your drawings, you should double click your scroll button, and that will zoom extents. And now we're at the point of just hitting the save button. Because we saved it with the angle spacer name at the beginning, it just saves it. It'll update it, and you don't need to like do a save as. Save as is only when you're making a copy of something. So I would close out of this, and then I would get started with my next drawing. So hitting that little plus button will give you a new drawing screen, and you would be ready to draw base plate at this point.